League One this season has been a season like no other, and we're only halfway through it. There's been some incredible stories and some extraordinary performers from all teams in this league, and this episode of the podcast we'll be discussing just that. We're going to be going through all 24 teams in the league and discussing, based on stats, who has been their standout performer. We've seen 798 goals, many of them worldies and some of them off the pack sides, but all in all, it's been a season to remember. So sit back, relax and enjoy this episode of the podcast as we go through your team and discussing your team's best player this season. Subscribe as well if you enjoy the content and leave a like as well. We've got plenty of more stuff where this comes from. Anyway, enough of me talking. Sit back and enjoy this episode of the podcast. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today we're doing something very, very different because we are going to be discussing every team in League One's best player so far this season. A crazy season, an unexplainable season at times, one that probably will never be recreated like it has done, but we are going to be discussing it and we're going to be talking about who on paper and down to stats, who is the best player from every club. Now, when I've done this, I've done the research. Now, I've got to also stress as well that this research was done about a week ago from when I'm recording this. It took quite a while, I'm not going to lie, to sort of go through all these different things and try and find these stats of these different players. It took quite a long time to research and took quite a long time to, get all the data and get it all ready so I can deliver it in the best possible way. Because I don't really want to sit here and, and go through it all, live, and, the editing then makes it really, really difficult, and, it turns out to be like hours and hours long. I want to try and make it, as sharp and as crisp as possible for you people. It just makes it easier there for sort of everyone else, the viewer as well, and sort of for me, because I get a sort of a precise, or should I say concise episode of the podcast where I get some real facts and statistics out of this episode. So hopefully you understand that we are actually a week behind technically down to stats. So we have had a match week in between when I did the research and when I'm recording this now. So some of the stats, sort of the goals and assists, the percentages and sort of accurate pass, success, and to pass accuracy and successful dribbles, all those sort of things, they probably won't be changed too much. But in terms of, the goals and assists, they may be changed just slightly. And that, there could be something there that, might have, they might have scored or maybe got an assist in that last match week that would not have been, might not have been concluded, and included in this podcast data. So hopefully you understand, and I do apologise for that. Also, I'm going to say as well that we did do this on a minimum games played of 15. So obviously, a lot of different teams have played a lot of different games for multiple different reasons this season, but the reason why I've gone with the 15 games played is so that we just sort of try and get the most accurate statistics for each player. If I go for 20 games, that does sort of cut a lot of players out, because you've got to bear in mind injuries, suspensions, and obviously, whole games being postponed as well. So I've tried to make it so that 15 is a fair amount. I'm pretty sure the lowest number as of recording for a team that's played, I think it's 23 games. So I'll double check that now. I think it is about 23 games. So, I think we've gone with 15 to sort of be a fair result. I'm going for it now. Yeah, 23 games. Accrington Stanley and Doncaster played 23. So that is the lowest amount that a team has played. So hopefully you understand why I've gone with that. Of course, once again, I'm going to stress that stats definitely aren't the best way to try and find a player. And I'm also not going to pretend that I know your team better than you know your team. Obviously, you are the fans. You're the team. You're the people that watch your team week in, week out, and stats are certainly not the best way to try and find out who is the best player based on stats. So hopefully you understand that. Hopefully I'm not coming across that I'm going to say that Northampton's best player and then I'm going to know Northampton better than you do as Northampton fans, for example. Of course, that of course is not what I'm trying to do. So hopefully you get that, hopefully you understand that, and I really would appreciate it if you could like and subscribe as well, because I've been doing a lot of Oxford United content. I am going to continue doing that content because I'm an Oxford United fan and I really do enjoy doing that. But here on the podcast, I want to do different things as well. I want to sort of do a different and take a different route sometimes when I'm doing the podcast. Sort of open the audience up to a new audience, and sort of like really open up into a different area of content creation here in the footballing podcast world. So hopefully you can get behind that. Hopefully you can subscribe if you're new, because there's going to be lots of different content like this coming your way. I am sort of in the process of sort of changing different things. Obviously, if you've been here before, you've noticed that the backdrop has changed. I'm now sort of in a more of a studio, sort of surrounding, all the soundproofing up. So hopefully that looks pretty decent. Obviously as well, I've actually sort of changed a few things things in front of me sort of that you guys don't see in terms of editing, all that sort of boring stuff for you people. So that's why it's a little bit behind, and that's why it's a little bit sort of delayed. Obviously, I did speak about this episode of the podcast quite a while ago, but we won't talk about that as it is about a week late. So I do apologise for that, and hopefully you understand. But without further ado, all of that admin rubbish, get out of the way. Let's crack straight on with what you're here for. The highest and best performing players from every club in League One this season. So let's get straight into it now then. So we're going to go with the current league table as of when I was doing the research and collecting the stats. So some of the teams may have moved up and down the league. That's how leagues work. We are a match week behind, so there is a high chance that that is going to happen across a lot of teams in this podcast episode. However, I am going to say one thing before we crack straight on with this. Obviously, we are sort of now past the January transfer window, so there is a chance, and there is actually, I know there is a few of these players that have actually left the current team that I've associated them with. Obviously, the reason behind that is because they're having such a great start to the season. A lot of teams, probably higher in the footballing world, have discovered that they can play at a much higher level. So they could have left and have. Some of them have left their club. So apologies if I say your team and I name a player that has actually left the club. I do apologise for that. But that's just how it goes. We are now obviously past the January transfer window, and I am looking at the players that have been the best from your club before that time. So I do apologise for that. Hopefully you understand, and hopefully, yeah, it doesn't make it too complicated. I didn't want to sort of, get rid of a lot of players because they'd left, because I didn't really feel like we were getting the best stats if we were sort of getting rid of a lot of the players. So hopefully you understand. And yeah, let's crack straight on then with Burton Albion, of course, a team that are finding themselves and still are at bottom of the league table, but with a new manager, they are trying to get themselves back on track, which I think is important. They're trying to get back where they want to be, which is safety, I guess, in League One. They are bottom, but with a new manager, they are trying to change their fortunes around. As of recording, they have recently just beaten Hull City as well, a team that are very, very high up in the league table as it stands, a team that have recently been relegated from the Championship. I'm going to want to get back up the footballing ladder, if you like. So Burton are a team that are on the up, in my opinion. The player I've gone with is their midfielder called Joe Powell. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He's got 3 goals this season and 5 assists. He's created 3 big chances as well. Big chances, it is a bit of a vague and I guess a very vague way of putting it, but it is as simple as he has made 3 big chances that, down to expected goals, they should be going into the back of the net, and they should be being converted. Hopefully that makes sense. So down to expected goals, which basically is a stat, sort of another category in the statistic world. Expected goals, down to expected goals, they should be hitting the back of the net, and 74% of the time as well, he is getting those passes accurate. He's got 74% pass accuracy and an average rating of 6.97 as well. So Joe Powell is doing good stuff for Burton Albion, a player to really keep an eye on in the second half of the season, because if Burton are to get themselves out of the situation they're in, I think Joe Powell's going to be a very, very, very important man to do just that. So Burton, I've gone with Joe Powell. So, next up then, we've got Wigan. Gone with Tom Pearce, the left back for Wigan, another team that are struggling at the moment, but are hoping to turn the first season around and try and, in the second half of the season, get themselves to safety. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's a possibility. We're only halfway through, or some teams are, further into the season than others, but that's the 2020 and 2021 season for you, isn't it? Everything is going in the direction that we never thought it would, but Tom Pearce, the left back for Wigan, is the man I've gone with. A player with 3 assists this season and a big chances created number at 4. So really, really decent chances created number and an average rating of 6.91 as well. So for a defender, hitting closely to that 7 average ratings, it's very, very impressive. And I think that's a really, really good statistic to have. And I think it's a really, really, really sort of good statistics for a left back in a struggling side, it has to be said. Hopefully Wigan can turn things around, but yeah, with a team that are in the relegation zone, those sort of stats are to be admired, I guess. So really, really good for Wigan and their left back Tom Pearce. Which moves us on to the next team, AFC Wimbledon. And for AFC Wimbledon, I've gone with their striker, their main man, their bagsman, being Joe Pigott. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know too much about AFC Wimbledon, as much as I don't know a lot about every single, in particular, specific club. However, when I do think of Wimbledon, I do think of Joe Pigott, that striker for them, who just scores goals, but not just scoring goals this season, because he's been helping his teammates out with assists as well. He hasn't just got those assists of 4, he's also got 13 goals as well. So like I said, he's a bagsman. He scores goals, which for a team like Wimbledon and a team down there in the relegation zone, or at the moment, as of recording, as of recent, they're in the relegation zone. However, when you need to get out of that situation, you're in a bit of a dogfight, you need a player that you can rely on up front that's going to spag you the goals. And I think Joe Pigott's the man that's going to do that. So I think Joe Pigott, I think you're in a really, really good place with him as a striker. Like I said, 13 goals this season and 4 assists. He's also made 4 big chances as well. So the player, Joe Pigott, is doing well for Wimbledon up front. I think he's a player that should certainly be admired. Now, this actually wasn't including in the stats I had, because he's a player that I have actually recently put in. His goals are up to date. He has scored 13 goals, and in his last game against Wigan, which they won 3-2, Joe Pigott scored 2 in there as well. So his stats are completely up to date, and he's still scoring goals right now in his recent game against Wigan. A very, very good game in terms of down there in the relegation zone. A big 3 points at Wimbledon and 2 important goals from Joe Pigott, the Wimbledon man. So for Wimbledon, I've gone with Joe Pigott. So then, moving on to Northampton Town, a team that got promoted into League 1 last season from League 2 after a very, very good, successful season. I've gone with Cian Bolger. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Is it not Bolger or Bolger? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that one of those correctly. Hopefully I am. I do apologise. I'm not very, very good when it comes to pronunciation, but hopefully one of them is right. And he is the centre-back for Northampton Town this season. 8.6 clearances per game. I think it's an absolutely incredible statistic to have. It does prove that, there's a few clearances that he needs to take care of, and there are a lot of times where the ball's getting put into the Northampton area and he needs to clear it away, but he's doing it well, and he's doing it per game consistently as well. 8.6 is not a bad number when you think about it. And also an interesting stat, and a very, very good stat, is 78% aerial duels are being won by the Northampton man. I think that's a really, really good stat. Not just balls into the box with no one closing him down and no one pressuring him, and he's winning a comfortable header that he can cushion down. No, this is a player that is winning 78% of the time when there's a player pressuring him, and it's a duel 1v1 against the opposition in the air. So a really, really good stat aerial duel wise. And I think Northampton have got a good centre back on their hands as well there. And that's not to mention a very, very respectable average rating of 6.96 as well. 6 out of 10. For me, I think that sounds a little bit, doesn't sound as good as it is, but it's actually very, very good and absolutely incredible number when you think about it. The amount of games these people are playing, and we're only halfway through, but like I said, this is 23 to 26 amount of games played to get an average rating of pretty much 7 at 6.96. I think it's very, very good. And again, I'm no disrespect to any of the teams at the bottom of the table down there. I do also understand that, you are in games where, the stats don't lie. You aren't as winning as many games. You are down there for the reason you're not getting as good enough results, but you've got players there with a really, really good average rating, so he clearly is standing out. So again, like with all those teams, I think these players could be the reason why hopefully they can turn their seasons around for them. Which moves us on next to Bristol Rovers, and I've gone with their midfielder Zain Westbrooke. He's a centre midfielder. Haven't heard too much of him before, but from looking into him, he looks pretty decent. In fact, I'm going to turn that into very decent. I've got to be honest. We're going to start with his average rating, because I think that's got to be admired and taken in. 7.04, a really, really incredible average rating, averaging a really, really good score week in, week out. That's got to be said. Remember, 6 is average, 7 is that next level above average, and he's doing that consistently throughout the first half of the season, which I think is absolutely fantastic as well. He's also, remember, 1 goal and 2 assists in there as well. Nothing unbelievable, nothing spectacular. He hasn't taken me off my chair, but what it has done is shown that he's definitely getting involved in there, and he's definitely doing a good job. He's got an own half percentage of 88% as well, and he's got a successful dribbles of 78%, so he's got a really, really good percentage statistics there across the board when that's dribbling as well. And successful dribbles, they're quite difficult to sort of, get a really high percentage there, because it proves that, he's taking players on, and a dribble as well. You know, there's so many different types of dribbles. Of course, you've got a dribble when you're not being pressed, you're not being closed down, but you've got a dribble when you're taking men on as well. So it's a really, really good percentage to have. And yeah, I think Zain Westbrook's got a really, really good set of stats there. So I've gone with Zain Westbrook for Bristol Rovers. And of course, as of recording, we've got Bristol Rovers tonight as an Oxford United fan. So hopefully Zain doesn't do too much tonight. But I think he's definitely a player to look out for 110%. Which moves us on to another Oxford United related team that isn't Oxford. It's Swindon Town, a team that us and Oxford have a great relationship with, a fantastic history. Anthony Grant, centre midfielder. 3 goals this season, no assists but 3 goals, an 83% pass accuracy and a 71% successful dribbles. He's also got an opposition percentage of pass accuracy of 76% as well. So really, really good for set of stats when it comes to successful dribble percentage. And he's got an average rating of 6.99, so pretty much a 7-point rating. You couldn't get any closer. I mean, you could go with a 6.999 recurring. However, they don't do that in the footballing world too often. It is normally up to 2 decimal places. Anyway, we're not going to get into too much of a maths lesson, but 6.99 seems to be the one to go with Anthony Grant, and he looks like a really good player. So for Swindon Town, I've gone with their midfielder, Anthony Grant. She's on to Rochdale, of course, recently as Oxford United. I'm not going to link every team to Oxford United. I don't think many of you care. However, if you do care, we've recently beaten them 3 games ago, in a 7-goal thriller. Rochdale, and I think, not even taking the Oxford United related, I think this is generally a Rochdale fact, that they have got very, very, very good stats on across the ball when it goes to going forward. Defensively, there wasn't too much going on there. A little bit open. However, they do commit so many men going forward. They play some great football going forward. They're a little bit like Leeds. I've got to be honest. They are a little bit like Leeds in the Premier League. They do a lot of, lot of work going forward. Defensive, they're a little bit open, but going forward, they're great. And I've gone with their man, and take the stats in, Matthew Lund. Hopefully I'm getting one of them right. He's a centre midfielder, and he's a midfielder for Rochdale. From looking at these stats, I'm thinking he's an attacking midfielder. If he isn't, then I'm mind blown. But I think he is going to be a more attacking midfielder. And listen to these stats. 10 goals and 5 assists. Already in the first half of the season. Now remember, we're taking a 15 games minimum. Now I can tell you Matthew's played more than 15 games this season, in the first half of the season anyway, and he's got 15 goal and assists. So altogether, of course, he's got 15 goal involvements in the first half of the season, which I think is incredible. A 74% pass accuracy as well, and 4 big chances created. I think that's absolutely incredible. An average rating of 7.21, a really, really good average rating. So yeah, Matthew Lund, definitely a man to look out for Rochdale, because there's a lot of players that have got to be watched for. When you're looking at Rochdale, they're a very, very good team going forward, and Matthew seems to be the man that's doing that very, very well for Rochdale. So that's what I've gone with there. So moving on to Shrewsbury Town. I don't know why I gave a bit of an accent there. It's Shrewsbury Town, and I've gone with Shaun, Whalley. Again, Shaun, we're going with Shaun. He's a striker with 5 goals this season, 2 assists, and an average rating of 7.15. I've also put in there, he's got a shots per game of 1.7, so not an unbelievable shots per game, but he's definitely getting some shots on target and some shots into the area as much as possible, or towards the goal anyway. That's normally how shots work. And an average goals is 5 as well, with 2 assists. It's not bad, to be honest with you. It's not that bad at all. And when I was looking at Shrewsbury, I couldn't see any players that were absolutely grabbing, grabbing complete unbelievable stats. But when I looked at Shaun, the striker, he looked pretty good, and he's scoring some goals as well. So 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 goal involvements, and a really, really good average rating of 7.15. I've gone with Shaun for Shrewsbury. Which moves on next to MK Dons, and I've gone with Harry Darling, the centre-back for MK Dons. He hasn't got any goals, but he's got an assist for a centre-back this season. He's got 4.2 clearances per game as well. However, he has conceded 3 penalties. Now, I understand we are trying to get the best and trying to find these best players, and I have sort of added a little bit of a negative spin on Harry Darling's name with the 3 penalties being conceded. Obviously, that does mean that he's fouled someone in the box. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you, but it basically means that he's a little bit clumsy in the penalty area. Let's just say that. So I have sort of given a bit of a backup to MK Dons, and I've actually given them the goalkeeper, the only goalkeeper in this list, Andrew Fisher. He deserves a shout out. He's got a very, very good average rating for MK Dons. So I've given 2 options there for MK Dons. I've gone with Harry Darling and Andrew Fisher. So some really good, players at MK Dons, and those are the 2 that I've gone with. So Moving on then to Fleetwood Town. They're 15th as of when I was doing the research. Not sure where they are now. They are still 15th. That makes it easy for me. Of course, sacked their man Joey Barton, who got them in the playoffs last season. Things that must have happened behind closed doors for them to sack him. But he's gone, and they do find themselves in not a great position, in 15th. But I have got the man that I've decided that I'm going to go, and I've gone with Callum, a centre midfielder with 8 goals this season and 1 assist. So again, I'm sort of guessing he's that more attacking midfielder, really getting involved with the goals. 4 big chances created. There's a lot of players at Fleetwood not taking those big chances. If he's only got 1 assist and he's created 4 big chances, 1.8 tackles per game as well. So he's getting in there with the tackles every now and again, and a 72% pass accuracy. So that's both an opposition half and own half. So he's got a really, really, really good pass accuracy across the board and an average rating of 7.01 as well. So a really, really good set of stats for Callum Camps. And yeah, I think Fleetwood have got a good man on their hands. And if they can sort of turn their season around, and obviously they've recently just appointed Grayson, I'm pretty sure it is, the ex-Sunderland manager. Hopefully if they are going to turn their season around, they are going to sort of change their fortunes going into the second half of the season, I think Callum Camps is going to be a man to definitely watch out for. So I've gone with Camps at Fleetwood. Which then moves us next on to Plymouth Argyle. Again, another team that got promoted out of League 2 into League 1 this season. And I've gone with their striker, Jephcott, the striker, with 14 goals this season. No assists, but again, this man bagged goals, 14 goals, incredible, 77% pass accuracy, and he's the current top goal scorer as of doing the research, with an average rating of 7.09. A really, really, really good set of stats, and no assist in there, but 14 goals already in the first half of the season is really, really good. And again, he's scoring goals, which again, for a team that, I've just got themselves into League 1 this season, they needed a man that they can rely on up front, take those chances to keep themselves in the league, and, go on to do some very, very good things, hopefully, for Plymouth fans. Jephcott seems to be the man that's doing that. So that's why I've gone with Luke there. Which is on next to Gillingham. They've got Jordan Graham as the man I've decided to be their best player in the first half of the season. They have also Jordan Graham. Got a really, really good set of players at Gillingham, but Jordan Graham is the man I've gone with. Of course, he used to be on loan at Oxford United, so I know him slightly well. He could play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play up front as well, but he does, I think, this season, from what I know, he is sort of playing himself on the flank quite a lot. He's got 7 goals this season out on the wing and out on those flanks, 4 assists in there as well, so he's not just scoring goals and cutting in and taking his chances. He's also helping his teammates out with, creating those chances out on wide as well. 9, and this is another one, it's an incredible stat, 9 big chances created as well, which I think is absolutely splendid. 78% pass accuracy and an average rating of 7.41 as well. 4th highest average rating in League 1. So some really, really good stats there. A really, really high average rating and some big chances and goals being created and scored for Jordan Graham. A man to watch out for if you're playing Gillingham. Jordan Graham seems to be doing very, very well there. So, moving on then to the next team, and this is a player, again, I'm not even going to pronounce the second name, and I really do apologise, and hopefully there's not too many Marvins playing for Blackpool, because I really, really don't want to butcher and ruin this guy's fantastic second name, but I'm not going to say it because I will ruin it. I'm going to go with Marvin, the centre-back. I'm going to say the centre-back. I don't think there's any more Marvins at Blackpool, could be wrong, but I'm going with Marvin. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists this season at centre-back. At centre-back, by the way, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's very, very good. Very, very incredible to think about. 4 goal involvements from a centre-half is incredible. 1.3 interceptions per game as well, so he's getting in those interceptions, and as a team he's helping them get 9 clean sheets, which I think is very, very good. And I'm guessing he sees himself as a bit of a ball-playing defender, because he's got a 72% pass accuracy, and he's making quite a few passes. And just to take into consideration how good these average ratings are, and in particular Marvin's average rating of exactly 7, he's played 23 games this season, so to have a pass accuracy of 72%, pass accuracy, with 23 games played, and to keep a consistent average rating of 7 with 23 games played, again, is absolutely incredible. So Marvin at Blackpool, the centre-half, he's doing very, very well. Hopefully, now I've said that, there's not too many Marvin centre-backs playing for Blackpool. I don't think there is. Marvin for Blackpool is the man I've gone with for their best player in the first half of the season. And we're now going to move on to the first half of the second set of teams. That, in my head, it sounded much better than it is. We are now moving on to the next set of teams. We are now on the halfway stage. We're moving on now to Ipswich Town. And I've gone with Edwards. Right winger, left winger, can play on those flanks. He's got 5 goals this season, 3 assists as well. So he's got 8 goal involvements, 70% pass accuracy, and he's played 15 games. So he's just hit the threshold to get a lad. He might have played 16 or 17 by now. Of course, this is when this was being done, and the research that I was doing, he played 50 games at that point, but he probably has made a few more now. However, 5 goals, 3 assists, very respectable, and an average rating of 7.16 as well. So very, very good set of stats for Ipswich's man Edwards. So moving on then to the next man, and that of course is Oxford United, my team, the team that I support. And I do create a lot of content surrounding Oxford United on the podcast, but like I said at the start, I am sort of going to open myself up and do lots of not literally open myself up, I mean that would, take it how you will, of course, but not like that, boys, not like that, or girls, of course. If we've got any, how many different people have we got watching the podcast today? So anyway, got a bit of a tangent there, but Oxford United, Rob Atkinson, I've gone with there. Centre back, 1.3 interceptions per game, a clearances number of 5.1, 74% pass accuracy, and a 70% total duels won, 100% successful dribbles in there as well, and an average rating of 7.15. And the successful dribbles one for me is one that definitely should be, should be spoken aloud, because it's not like this man doesn't do dribbles. If you've watched Oxford United and you're wondering why this random blonde centre-back keeps running from centre-back and nobody can tackle him, that'll be Rob Atkinson. This man does not look naturally fantastic on the ball when he dribbles out, but no one can get hold of him, no one can tackle him. It's so hilarious to watch, but so effective. So that's why I've gone with and put that stat in there, because obviously it could be 100% successful dribbles if he's done 1 successful dribble. But this man doesn't do 1 successful dribble in the first half of the season. This man does probably about 2 a game. So this man gets involved, and he's got an incredible average rating of 7.15 as well. So next up then, we're going with Crewe, a team that also got promoted into League One last season after a very, very good League Two campaign. And I've gone with their left winger, Charlie Kirk. A man, of course, was in the league, the EFL Team of the Year last season. He stood out extremely well in League Two. Could he do it in League One? The answer to that is a big fat yes. He's doing it very, very well. 9 goal involvements, 5 goals, 4 assists in there as well. So he's doing really, really well. 5 big chances created as well, which is really, really good. And 80% pass accuracy for a winger as well. Yeah, they don't do as many passes if they were to be in that more central area, but he's definitely doing very, very well when he is passing the ball. A 54% successful dribbles, and it's not an unbelievable stat. It's not great, but it is obviously pretty much one every other successful dribbles, a little bit more than that. But what I'm going to say to that is it proves that he's taking players on. It proves that he's definitely doing the more extravagant, or maybe not extravagant, just sort of risky, I guess, dribbles. He could easily pass it back, he could give it to someone else, but instead he's trying to do what's best for the team, really, and I guess take a player on and see what he can make of it. So that's why I've gone with Charlie Kirk there, and that's why I've put that successful dribbles stat in there. He's also got the 9th highest average rating in League One, so a really, really good average rating of 7.25. So he's definitely up there. He's got a great average rating for a winger, and he's doing great stuff for Crewe. So that's why I've gone with Charlie Kirk. So, moving on next then to Charlton Athletic, a team that got relegated, of course, from the Championship last season. They're now in League One, and I've gone with their centre midfielder / CDM sort of player, Jake Forster-Caskey. He's got an average rating of 7.27, but he's got 6 goal involvements with 4 goals and 2 assists as well. He's got 76% pass accuracy and a 1.6 interceptions per game and a 1.8 tackles per game as well. So he is definitely helping his team out with those defensive dirty work duties, but he's also getting in there with the goal involvements of 6 altogether, 4 of them being goals, and a really, really good average rating as well. So some really, really good stats to have there. I think that man, for the chart in that Charlton midfield, is a player definitely to watch out for. That's why I've gone with Jake Forster-Caskey. So, moving on then to Accrington Stanley, a little bit of a surprise package. If you go back and watch my predictions video, predictions podcast episode at the start of the year, I definitely didn't put Accrington where they are right now. They're a team, in fact, Oxford United, again, I keep accidentally linking them back to Oxford, but that's just what I'm used to. We actually beat them at the start of the season. I thought Accrington, they could be in trouble. They're conceding a lot of goals, but no. This team, Accrington Stanley, are performing very, very well this season. And a man in their midfield is definitely helping them in that season, and that is Joe Pritchard. 5 assists this season, 6 goals as well, 6 big chances created, and a 70% pass accuracy. He's also got a 1.5 key passes per game and an average rating of 7.19. This man's getting involved in the goal and assist and he's getting a really, really respectable average rating as well. So he's doing a lot in that Accrington midfield. And like I said, we didn't expect a lot from Accrington Stanley at the start of the season, and I don't know if Accrington fans secretly thought that they could, turn this into an incredible season. But certainly as a neutral, well, not really neutral, I'm an Oxford fan, but certainly as a fan looking in on this league, I definitely didn't expect Accrington Stanley to be where they are, and that's got to be down to their man in midfield, Joe Pritchard. He's the man I've gone with for Accrington Stanley, which leads us on to Sunderland, who I've gone with their striker, Charlie Wyke. Hopefully it's that man. We'll go with Charlie. Big Charlie up front. 12 goals this season. No assists, but he's a bagsman. He's scoring goals. 12 of them in truth. 5 big chances created. So someone at Sunderland, he's got no assists, but he's creating some big chances. So I don't know what's going on at Sunderland. In fact, I'll just double check to see if that's exactly right, because that sounds pretty mental. To think that a man, Charlie, is creating all these chances and Sunderland men just aren't finishing them off. I'll double check now. He has got still no assists. No, still no assists, and no, he's only got 3 chances created. That's a mistake on my part. That's not a bit strange. No, he's only got 2 big chances created. However, he still has no assists, so they're not taking the chances there. But he's got a 73% successful dribbles and a 2.1 shots per game and an average rating of 7.27. So a very, very good average rating. He's scoring goals for Sunderland. They're not having that incredible season where they go on and win the league or whatever. And they have got a new manager, of course, recently come in. They sacked the manager that they had at the start of the season. New ones come in now. And of course, Sunderland's goal is to get back up the footballing ladder, get out of this, league. And to them, this league is definitely should be not where they are. And the size of Sunderland Football Club, they shouldn't be in this league. I know that does upset a few Sunderland fans because they go, yeah, but we're not as good as we used to be. Yes, but the size of your club and all the different things surrounding it, you should definitely be higher than League One. And Charlie definitely is hopefully going to be a man that can send them back up the leagues with the goals that he's scoring. 12 goals this season. Next up then, we've gone with Peterborough, Joe Ward. 2 goals this season and 7 assists. 7 big chances created as well. So he's creating some big chances, and they're getting and they're being converted by the Peterborough boys. 76% pass accuracy, 50% pass accuracy. 76% pass accuracy and a 1.6 key passes per game, and an average rating of 7.21. So again, a really, really good average rating, a very, very good pass accuracy, and he's creating the chances for the teams. Of course, they did lose their man, Ivan Toney, the striker, the centre forward, that we really sort of saw around being at Peterborough. They got a new man in, of course. I do know his name, and I've definitely forgot it now I'm doing the podcast. They brought a new replacement striker into the club. And he's doing things, and he's doing very, very good things. And they got a player like Joe, like Joe Ward, that can put a ball into the box, that can create those chances for Peterborough. And that's why Peterborough are where they are in the league table, currently 4th as of recording. So they're in a very, 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 very good position. And their Johnson Clark Harris is the man they brought in as the replacement, obviously, as well. They've got people like Dembele, of course, Ronnie Edwards, Dan Butler. But Joe Ward's the man I've taken, lots of players as well. So, yeah, I've gone with Joe Ward in there. So that's who I've gone with at Peterborough. But there's a lot of very, very good players, as there is a lot of good players from all these specific clubs. But Peterborough, they've got a big selection of players to choose from as their best players in the first half of the season, but I've gone with Joe Ward. So, moving on next to Portsmouth then, their captain of Portsmouth for this season, Tom Naylor. He's been playing in the midfield, but he can play at centre-back as well. 5 goals this season. He hasn't got any assists, but he's getting in with the goals. I don't know if they're penalties or not. I don't mean to maybe he's scoring worldies, but from the midfield position, from what it sounds like, he's quite a defensive midfielder. I don't know too much about Tom Naylor, but I know if he's getting those goals as well, he's either a very, very good conversion when it comes to penalties, because he's scoring a lot of pens and they're getting a lot of pens, or he's scoring goals from outfield play, which if he is, either way, he's been very, very helpful. Not just from his goals as well, because he's got a very, very good average rating of 7.15 as well. 2.3 clearances per game, an average duels won as well of 62%, so a really, really good duels won. Of course, that's not just in the air, that's on the deck as well. A 77% pass accuracy and an average of 2 tackles per game. So yeah, he is getting in those tackles, he is doing the dirty work for Portsmouth, and that's probably why Portsmouth are where they are this season, having a very, very good, successful season, because Tom Naylor, the captain's doing his thing. So that's what I've gone with for Portsmouth. Moving then on to Doncaster, no disrespect, another surprise package I'd say for Doncaster this season and League One, of course. I've gone with a player that I know he has left the club. He's gone to Preston, but we are looking at the first half of the season, and I've gone with, you guessed it by now, Benjamin Whiteman. He got out at Preston, like I said, but he got 9 involvements when it comes to goals, 5 goals and 4 assists, and 84% pass accuracy as well. 3 big chances being created and 2.3 interceptions per game, and incredible average rating of 7.6. An incredible first half of the season for Whiteman, and they haven't dropped off. Of course, they've won every game in 2021 since he's gone, so he's really getting involved, in the first half of the season. But even without him, they're still doing Doncaster very, very well. So he had a great start to the season. They haven't dropped off yet. Recently beaten Oxford United, yep, Jack stopped talking about it, but Benjamin Whiteman is the man that's done very, very well, and I've gone with to be their best player in the first half of the season. A lot to choose from them. They've got a very, very good set of players, as everyone else, like I said. And that's now why I move on to Lincoln City, a team that I did actually say earlier in the season, this isn't a told you so sort of thing, but I did say that Lincoln City are a team to watch out for. A very, very good manager that is at Oxford United and sort of really the footballing world as it sense as well. Michael Appleton, they know him very, very well. A very, very good manager. He does tend to do good things in the management industry, and he's got a player like George Grant, who I've chosen with. He's a centre midfielder with 7 goals this season, 5 assists as well, a 78% pass accuracy and 1.9 tackles per game, and 6 big chances created, and a very, very good average rate of 7.5. George Grant for Lincoln City is the man I have gone with there. So, next up then, the final team here then in League One for finding out the best player from every team. I've gone with, at Hull City, George Honeyman. I loved watching when I was watching the Sunderland Until I Die documentary. He was obviously at Sunderland, hence why he's in the Sunderland documentary. He's a centre midfielder, and he can play in that attacking midfielder role as well. 3 goals and 9 assists in there as well, so he's really getting involved with those goal involvements. 9 assists, that's very, very good. But this one's even better. 14 big chances created. This man is creating chances for his Hull City teammates. He's also got a key pass number of 2.7 as well, a 77% pass accuracy, and he's been in the team of the week 6 times since the start of the season, so he's consistently getting in that team of the week and consistently helping his team out. But that one for me, 14 big chances, is incredible. George Honeyman, Hull are having a great season. They did just recently beat Burton, but we'll forget about that. But prior to that, they're having a very, very good season. I think George Honeyman is the centre of that and doing extremely well. So we can breathe because we've done it all. We've done 24 teams, all 24 teams in League One, and we have done it. We've done it. And I think we've done it in good time. I think it's about half an hour. It might be a little bit longer, half an hour, 35 minutes. I understand it's not a really short one. It's not an incredibly long one as well. But I did sort of want to get some good stats. I didn't want to just go Burton, Joe Powell, Wigan, you know what I mean? I don't want to just do that. I want to sort of back the research I've done up. And if you do appreciate me taking the time to do this, and of course, taking the time to do all these specific sort of like data behind these players, please do drop a like if you enjoyed it as well. Remember, I'm opening my audience, as I said, to get lots of different people watching the podcast involved. So please do drop a like and subscribe as well if you like this sort of content. Leave a comment down below, lots of different ideas. I've got some cool ideas I want to do and implement into the podcast, but please do leave a like, subscribe and comment down below. Again, you don't have to be an Oxford fan to subscribe, no way is that the case. I do Oxford United content, but I am looking to do lots of different content on the podcast as well, so please do subscribe, leave a like as well. And yeah, thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. I'm going to go get a drink, calm down. That took a lot of time, that took a lot of breath as well. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of the week, whatever day this comes out. We've got to edit and all that sort of thing, so hopefully it doesn't come out too late. Enjoy the rest of your week, like I said. Have a good rest of your day. You've been watching the Young Fan Podcast. I've been Jack, and I'll see you later.